great. Now let's clean up. And everybody gets on with that beautifully because of his guidance, leadership, and the way that he really does listen to everybody who makes part of the team feel that they're then therefore valuable and very much admired. And Rashendra, I'd like to say how much I admire you. Congratulations on the head student project.
Chief guest, teachers, parents and students. It has been a very tough yet successful year for us. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate the Student Council for keeping up with the demands of the IB while completing tough duties for the Student Council. Working with the Student Council has been a real privilege and a real pleasure, mainly because we were like a family who had a lot of agreements with disagreements in between, but always ended up with great things. I would briefly like to thank the parents and the teachers again for the help we have given to the students. Thank you. As a Student Council, we have managed to organize a lot of events successfully. Thank you everyone for all the help and the collaboration. We appreciate all the positive comments which you took heart from and negative comments which you learned lessons from. Tonight I will not be mentioning any names, but from what I say, you will know that I'm talking about you. I'd like to use this opportunity to thank my right-hand man and the most efficient person I've ever known, without whom I wouldn't have been able to complete my duties. Thank you for always being there for me when I had difficulties. Thank you for looking after me. Thank you for always asking me if there was something you could help with. It meant a heck of a lot to me. A huge thank you to the Student Council. Each one of you has contributed to make up the Student Council, which in my opinion was very different to the ones in the past. Responsibilities didn't fall on one person all the time. Group work was the core of our beautiful group. Most members did more than what they were required to do. Most of you would ask me, do you need anything done? And the second I asked them for a favor, they would say yes. And it gave me this amazing feeling of happiness. It made me feel like that there was no other Student Council that worked so well as a group and helped each other so much, and I'm extremely grateful for that. Apart from the Student Council members, there were people who weren't in the Student Council but were as committed to help us. And a big thank you must go to them for the help they have given us, especially to organize events throughout the year. Talking about roles out of the Student Council, I would like to thank my personal assistant, a role which I made my own. Thank you for always saying yes to every favor I had asked you for. Thank you so much for being the first one to check if I've slept enough or if I'm taking enough time off studies and other duties. I would like to thank a very special group of people, and the group is called Our Group. Thank you for all the help you've given me. Thank you for making me feel comfortable in a background which I always found very different. Thank you for inviting me and wanting to have fun with me. Thank you for loving me as a friend. Thank you for all the beautiful memories. Thank you for all that you have done for me. Leaving you guys will be one of the hardest things I've ever had to do after making such amazing friendships. Usually in a speech like this, the person leaves something behind for the audience to think about. In this case, I would like to tell you a real true story. A boy was born in Sri Lanka about 18 years ago to a wealthy father and a not so wealthy mother. After having real difficulties, his father decided to come to Italy to find a job and a new life when the boy was about two years old. The mother and the boy went through hell back in Sri Lanka, but she raised the boy by herself with the help of the money from her elder brother and the boy's father. The boy always had his mother's side of the family to help. She managed to give him a good education, both at school and about life. Then, when the boy was about 10 years old, she moved into Italy, leaving the boy with his aunt and grandparents who loved him to infinity. Although the boy was having a good education, he was very passionate about cricket. His character was a very stubborn one, and he was an odd little boy. Then at the age of 12, his parents decided to take him to Italy for about a month on vacation. Once he arrived in Italy, he didn't feel a big difference, as it was summer, and the only clear differences were the color of the people, the language they spoke, and the developed city. When he arrived, he was curious to know about his parents' life in Italy. He got to know that his parents were domestic workers, and that they were having a real hard time trying to give the best for the boy. As the days passed, the mother wanted to keep the boy in Italy to send him to the British school of Milan, and the father strongly disagreed due to the economic difficulties. During the situation, the boy got to know that the mother worked with two families. One was a fully Italian family, and the other was a half American and a half Italian family. The first family had said that they would look after all the economic responsibilities of the boy, and so it gave the whole family a lot of hope about their future. Therefore, during the summer, the mother and the boy arrived at the British School of Milan, the Sir James Henderson, to get all the information about the school. Then, when the mother called the first family she worked with to tell about the costs, they suddenly said no without any reason, and it brought about a countless number of tears from the mother's eyes. And once the boy was told, he was also shell-shocked. Once the father was told, he was furious, and he said that there was not a chance in them sending the boy to the school. After days of arguments and asking people for help, the mother managed to convince the father to send the boy to the Sir James. It was the second family that the mother worked with, which helped the boy all the way through, and he was and still is extremely grateful for that. The boy owes the family a world for all they have done to him. So everything was set for the boy to attend the first day at Sir James. He arrived at the reception, and on the first day, he was introduced to his Key Stage coordinator, who shook his hand with a big smile on her face, and the boy had never seen anything like that from a teacher back in Sri Lanka. Then he was introduced to his form tutor, who did the same, and he was introduced to some of the classmates. Then he went to his form class, and he sat there like he was on a different planet. He did not speak a word, and he hardly understood the complicated English accents and the modified Italian accents. I understand her when she spoke slowly. The form tutor became his second mother, and she looked after him all the time, talked to him all the time, and made him feel at home at a place which he had never experienced before. The boy owes her a lot in life too. Moving on, the Japanese boy next to him would hit him with rulers and all sorts of other metal objects to try and get him to talk, but it all seemed to have failed. They did become very close friends, and he was the boy's first ever friend at the Sir James because they communicated well by attacking each other, especially during tea. Together, the two made a beautiful trio with the person that the boy thinks of as the nicest person on earth. He also found his passion in Italy, which he thought he had lost by coming to Italy. He managed to start playing cricket, and is in the process of trying to build up a career with it. And he's also extremely grateful to his presidents of different cricket boards, the secretaries and the coaches, especially the coach at the club who have helped to bring him to the position. Although the boy was all confused by seeing all sorts of new things and different people, he had one thing in mind, and that was to succeed. He was very determined after all that had happened to him. He made friends quickly, and he was also quick to learn English to settle well into the school by a few years. All his teachers helped him an enormous amount throughout his school days. He created great memories apart from time in class, and some of them include choir, DFE, World Challenge, sports, and many events organized by the friends. His parents found it economically extremely difficult to support. They basically gave up their lives, especially the mother, to give the boy an education and a good life. The Key Stage coordinator at the time and the principals at various stages also helped the boy economically, as sometimes the parents really did become desperate, and the boy has done everything he could do to do justice to their support. The boy hopes that his parents will be proud, not so much of his achievements, but of his hard work and his attempts at everything he could possibly participate at school. That boy stands here tonight thanking every single person who contributed to his life. He's extremely grateful for everyone's help, and he cannot thank them enough. He will do everything he could possibly do to make them all happy and to do justice to all the help they have given him. He hopes that he hasn't disappointed anyone, and he still has a lot of energy left in the tank to try and go further. If one asks me what advice I would give someone by looking at this boy, I would say that he always had determination, perseverance, patience, and truly real hard work. Something he does very well is that he considers his character as another person and pays it an enormous amount of respect, while doing the same for every other human being. The boy made a huge leap in his life and managed to achieve many things he could only dream of 6 years ago. And tonight I would like each individual, without an age barrier, to ask themselves, if you sit here tonight, where could you be sitting in 6 or even less years of time? Just bear in mind that nothing is impossible and dreams really do come true as far as you keep them as targets and think of them as dreams. And finally, I'd like to thank 2 angels who appeared in my last year of school. For me, the word angel is not enough to describe how important you are to me, but I'll use it to at least get close to how much you mean to me. Thank you for all the beautiful words which gave me all the motivation in the world to get through a year which I think wouldn't have been possible without you and your help. Thank you for always being there for me when I was completely down and out, and I simply do not know how to explain how grateful I am for it. It will be an ever emotional goodbye when the day comes to leave you, to go in our own directions in life, and I wish to talk no more about saying goodbye to all the beautiful people I have met through my 6 years at the St. James. So I finish off saying that for anything, anytime, yes we can. Love you all.
I don't think I need to have said anything, did I? I gathered myself at that moment. Congratulations, Jasendra, really, really congratulations, and thank you very much for sharing your story with us. I'd now like to ask Rosh then to call upon his student council and to commend them for their hard work.
Okay. So the Charity Shield awards go to Cecilia Liska, Clementina Marini Clarelli, and Gemma Singer. Head of Sports to George Sanchez. Head of Austin to Ludwig Orlando and Valeria Namor. Heads of Drake to Alexa Weber and Eduardo Modenese. Heads of Darwin to Anna UNESCO and Matteo Foti. Head of Entertainment to Sara Dedola. Head of International Relations to Gregorio Marini Clarelli. The Deputy Head, Students, Lavinia Woodward and Matteo Rappa.